It's California Edition. I'm Brad Pomerance. We are joined again by Eloy Oakley. He is the president of the Long Beach City College, and I thank you so much for joining us, sir. No doubt Long Beach City has been in the news in education circles as a result of its decision to be the first college in the entire system to offer intersession classes at a premium rate. You got a lot of flack for it, but you've already done 2 full sessions, a winter and a summer. What's the report?
Well, so far the report has been great. The turnout's been better than we expected for both the winter intersession and the summer. We had about 72 to 75% fill rates, and the majority of those students were our lowest income students. So they were able to get quite a bit of aid to support their education, and they were able to get classes they needed to finish their educational goals.
So how is it that the lowest income students were placed in the class? Because the rap was, this isn't fair because it's going to be more expensive. I guess there's some financial aid component?
Yes, so part of the legislation required the college to find additional financial resources. So for those students who qualify for Board of Governor fee waiver during the regular academic year, we offered those students discounted rates, and in addition, our foundation provided them direct financial support, which lowered their costs considerably.
But therefore, did it become economical for the college?
It was economical for the college because through the financial support that those students got from the foundation or from financial aid, we still got our money.
I understand. So under the pilot program that was passed and signed by the governor last year, I believe it was 6 colleges in the system were permitted to engage in this program. Only one has, Long Beach City. Given what appears to be the success of the program, are you aware if any of the other 5 are going to jump on board?
Well, I know that College of the Canyon has been talking about it. They've been reviewing the progress that we've made, and they're talking about offering their program either this winter or next summer. Solano College has been talking about it, and there's been talk about replacing 1 or 2 of the colleges in the legislation and allowing other colleges to participate as well.
Because the 1 or 2 that you didn't mention, and I don't know if I will as well, I think PCC is one of them, Pasadena City College, they have declined.
They have declined.
And you would think that if they were on that list that they had given a signal they'd be interested, but they declined.
Well, the past is the past. My understanding was they did give a signal, but you know, they changed their mind, so we respect that.
What's also interesting about Long Beach City, and I'm sure it's an example of any other college in the system, is that a few years ago you were having to cut classes.
Right.
Well, I understand that you're adding classes.
Right.
New classes.
Yes.
How'd that happen?
Well, that's the way we work in California.
Exactly.
When there's great demand during a recession, we have to cut classes because we rely on state revenues. And when those revenues come back up, we're offering more and more classes. So the governor's budget has allowed us to add more classes and to try and meet whatever demand is out there in our communities.
And the classes, I guess, are in kinesiology and athletics. Obviously, there must have been a demand for that, or you wouldn't have offered it.
There is a demand for that, and we've also changed those programs and offer courses that lead to kinesiology degrees or to transfer. Those areas have grown tremendously over the last several years because of this demand in the universities for those kinds of transfer degrees.
I want to talk about degrees and what leads after obtaining a degree. I know that you have been focused mightily on creating career pathways, and in fact there's a program that's called such, the Career Pathways Trust. Could you tell us about that program, sir?
Sure. So Senate President Pro Tem Steinberg sort of hatched this idea actually a couple of years ago when he and the Senate visited Long Beach City College.
Yeah, I remember that.
It's based on a model called Link Learning, which is funded by the James Irvine Foundation. And basically, the premise is to provide students in a K-12 environment with access to and experience in careers, and to focus their education to be college and career ready, and then create pathways to those careers. So for example, Long Beach City College is creating pathways to advanced manufacturing fields. So we create degrees, we create classes and experiences in the K-12 environment, and we link all of those through pathways all the way to the university.
So are you working with industry?
We are working with industry, with our K-12 partners throughout the LA region, with Long Beach State and Cal State LA, And together, along with business and industry, we're creating these new pathways in engineering technologies and advanced manufacturing.
And I understand that recently Superintendent of Public Instruction Tom Torlakson came to talk about career pathways to LBCC. That's a statement.
Yes, Superintendent Torlakson has been very supportive on this effort and has been a big champion for these kinds of pathways. I
want to ask you about another program, and that is another potential pilot. And that pilot program would allow community colleges to offer 4-year degrees, bachelor degrees.
Right.
It seems innovative, although I must say it's not that innovative because several other states have done it. Usually we're on the foreground, but be that as it may, philosophically, without getting into the weeds of the particular pilot, what do you think about the notion that a community college would offer a 4-year degree?
Well, I think community colleges are in the unique position of being the most nimble to respond to the needs of their community. So in my opinion, if there's a need in a community that doesn't have access to a CSU or a UC, that a community college should be able to fill that need.
And if you think about our great state, there are plenty of areas where there is no CSU or UC for 100 miles.
Right.
North State, Central State, East State, whatever it may be. So the state, could be a poster child for what you just described.
That's exactly right. Now, having said all that, the CSU is a very comprehensive system, so there's probably very few circumstances where I think that would work. But if a community college feels that there's a need there, I think they should be able to fill it.
And you mentioned the CSU. What we know today is that the program, which is likely to be put in place in January, does not allow duplicative majors with UC or CSU, not regionally, but throughout the state. So even if there's a major at CSU Humboldt, it's the only one. Long Beach City, if it was part of the pilot, could not offer that major.
Right.
Which creates some challenges.
It will create challenges because the language in the bill is very narrow.
Right.
But that there's still some room for experimentation, and if the legislation is signed, then I'm sure some of our colleges will jump in.
How many members of your Board of Trustees are there?
There are 5 members.
So I ask you specifically that because you have 2 new members and a vacancy.
Correct.
So once that vacancy is filled, you will have 3 new members out of 5. Wow, that's a challenge.
It's a challenge and an opportunity. I mean,
I like the glass half full. Tell me about that.
Well, I mean, fortunately for Long Beach City College, we've had a very stable board, and we have a very stable community with regard to education. Everybody knows about the Long Beach College Promise. Everybody buys into it. So most members who come to us want to continue to support that work.
And the promise is that pathway, if I can use, between LBUSD, LBCC, and CSULB.
Correct.
And it is a smooth one. I'm amazed. You taught me a lot about it.
It is a smooth one. Matter of fact, we were just in the White House a couple of weeks ago talking about this.
Just the White House?
Yes, just the White House.
The White House. How was the trip?
Well, actually, I couldn't make it because I was in another event, but my Vice President of Student Support Services, Greg Peterson, talked about the great work that we were doing, and it's always wonderful to have the opportunity to talk to a national audience.
Did he meet someone named Barack Obama?
Well, he met the Secretary of Education.
Okay, Arnie Duncan. Nothing wrong with that.
Yes.
And what did they make of the promise? Because it is a program that is a model.
Well, there is talk all over the nation about forming K-12 higher ed partnerships. I think everybody understands that that is a great efficiency and an opportunity for students to move through much more quickly. So it is a model, we think. That doesn't mean that we have perfected the model, but we love talking to communities about the work that we've done in Long Beach.
Is it being duplicated yet outside of California?
Yes, as a matter of fact, just up the 405 freeway, there's been the launch of the South Bay Promise, which includes Cal State Dominguez Hills, El Camino College, Sentinel Valley Unified, and Inglewood.
His name is Eloy Oakley. He is president of Long Beach City College. I'm Brad Pomerance. It's California Edition.